and have all money be on those chips and everything on those chips. And if anybody wants to protest what we do or violate what we want, we just turn off the chip.
Hitting with a baton a man while other officers hold that man down.
Change we can believe in. I didn't say change we can believe in tomorrow.
Есть серьезное основание полагать.
Аллаху Акбар! Аллаху Акбар! Аллаху Акбар!
We saw these individuals buy or begin turning up at crime scenes in the United States and in Mexico, and yet we still did nothing.
So why was he inaccurate? Why can't we keep our health care plans if we like them?
If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period.
Hi, welcome to the Fire Report. I'm your host, Dwayne Risco. Folks, tonight I have some very, very powerful, eye-opening small videos that really should grab you and make you sit back and wonder, is this stuff true? Is this stuff really happening? Is this stuff going to take place? Can this really be? How come I'm not hearing it on Fox or ABC or CNN or MSNBC or BBC? How come I'm not reading about it in the newspapers? How come I'm only getting some of this on talk radio? Folks, one of the very first videos you're going to see tonight pertains to what's going to take place in America's news. You need to watch some of these videos that are coming up. One is about 2016, Obama's plan to take down America. Now, some of you might turn around and say, oh, here we go, a conspiracy theorist nut. President Obama's not taking down America. Well, perhaps you need to listen to some people like Sean Hannity, Les Levine, and others who have come out and exposed a lot of things that are going on. You know, Ernie Sanders, What's Right, What's Left, right here in Cleveland, Ohio. Ernie Sanders is on Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. to midnight, and a lot of his guests, along with Larry Nichols, have been exposing the hidden agenda behind the scenes about what's going on. You know, in America, people say, well, perhaps the president has made bad judgments. Perhaps he's made policies that he thought were going to work, but they're not. What do you think? What about if his policies were part of the plan to make it look like they're failing, but in reality, it's coming to fruition? Laws are being changed that's going to take away your freedoms. Watch the videos for yourself before you shake your head and roll your eyes. Also, you're going to see prophecy warning. Something big is coming. We've been hearing on InfoWars, Alex Jones. We've been listening to shortwave radio broadcasts. People are watching Jade Helm. People are watching the military movements all across this country. Something big, they claim, is going to go on, as well as financial collapse, perhaps. We've heard so much that the stock market's going up and down. China's in trouble. Asia's in trouble. All across the globe, we're starting to see more and more things that just aren't normal. Something's wrong. Well, you're going to see a video that's going to explain that. Plus, you'll see another one called 3 Warning Signs. As you look around, there's just too much going on that we can't get a grip on it. We see military takeovers. We see the uprise of Islam. We see the financial crisis. We see the global wattage shortage. We see the fires. We see all these disasters taking place. But it's not just in America. It's globally. You know, at one time, folks, you used to be able to turn on the Weather Channel or CNN and you would see all kind of footage and coverages around the globe of disasters. Now, if you do, you get a 20, 30-second clip, and that's it. You got to go on YouTube. You got to go online to check out the real disasters that are taking place. I want you to watch the 3 warning signs. Plus, I also have something for you, a small clip about nutrition and headaches, migraines, because a lot of people suffer with these, and I want to pound this home to you that you need to take stuff outside of heavy prescription painkillers, Because after a while, man, they're going to take toll on your liver and on your pancreas and your body. God only knows what it does to your intestines. So I try to bring you in the Fire Report some things that you're not going to get on your local news or your media. You might get in a newspaper here and there a little bit. Remember, news that was reported yesterday that you didn't hear about is not old news because you're just now hearing it and it's news. And sometimes it's not covered properly. Also, did you ever hear of a thing called atheist churches? Did you know that more and more around the world, they are building atheist churches, humanist churches, where they do not believe in God. You go there and worship Mother Earth, worship whatever. Atheist churches. I was shocked the very first time. But I'm glad that I've been doing a little bit more investigating to say, wow, atheist churches really hold worship services, bring songbooks in and have festivals celebrating what? Nothing? Or celebrating stupidity? I don't know. You decide. Hey, my name's Dwayne Risco. Thanks for watching the Fire Report. Don't go away. Great videos. Make sure you stay tuned for upcoming shows because some of the information that I'm going to bring to you is going to blow your mind. Again, thanks for watching. Until then, I'll see you later.
In the film 2016, I advanced what seemed to be a kind of outlandish theory about Obama, that Obama had imbibed the anti-colonial philosophy of his dad, Barack Obama Sr. And this anti-colonialism shapes Obama's worldview and helps us to predict what Obama is going to do. It not only explains what he is doing, but it allows us to foretell and anticipate things that he's going to do. In the film, we made some fairly specific predictions about Obama, and this is not a bad time to review those predictions and see if they have in fact come true. So one of the predictions is that Obama would spend money promiscuously to raise the debt in virtual indifference to the impact of the debt on American citizens. In fact, Obama has been racking up the debt at the rate of $1 trillion a year. The debt has doubled in Obama's term in office. So Bush was a big spender, but even in his most profligate days, Bush was spending $500 billion. Obama has doubled that on an annual basis. The country is now almost $17 trillion in debt. That's bigger than our gross domestic product. And that's an awful burden to saddle our children and grandchildren. It's also a burden that drags the economy down and redistributes wealth away from America to the rest of the world. Why? Because in the past, much of our debt was owed to other Americans. But now, a significant portion of our debt, about a third, is owed to foreigners. Our debt is owed to Kuwaitis and Saudis, and Chinese, and so when we incur debt and have to pay it back, and at some point you have to pay, this is a transfer of hundreds of billions, in fact trillions of dollars, out of the United States and to other countries. My theory about Obama was that he wanted and wants global redistribution, and debt is a weapon of global redistribution. My second prediction is that Obama wants to shrink the influence of American foreign policy. This is not the unintentional effect of a blundering president. If you want that, you have to go to Jimmy Carter. When Jimmy Carter pulled the Persian rug out from the Shah of Iran, oops, he got Khomeini. He didn't know he was going to get somebody who would be congenitally hostile to American foreign policy, so he was surprised. But when Obama supports the Muslim Brotherhood, he knows that this is the oldest and most powerful organization of radical Islam in the world. He knows that the Muslim Brotherhood is trying to consolidate its power not only in Egypt, but throughout the Middle East. And yet, when the Muslim Brotherhood comes to power, Obama doesn't seem perturbed. In fact, he seems kind of excited. When the military pushes out the Muslim Brotherhood, Obama seems flummoxed. He doesn't really know what to do. Suddenly you've got guys who used to be allies with the United States, the Egyptian military, and what does Obama do? He cuts American aid to the military to antagonize those guys. It's almost like he's looking to take Egypt, which is a longtime ally, and make it into an enemy. Now you might say, wait a minute, Obama's, he couldn't help it. There was Tahrir Square, there were the students in the streets, America believes in democracy. Surely Obama has no choice but to support democracy in Egypt. But wait a minute. In 2009, there were massive pro-democracy demonstrations in Iran. Did Obama back the democracy movement? No, he opposed it. He in fact said, let's stay out. He said, let's leave things to, and I quote him, the supreme leader. The Iranian mullahs, they bring out the police, they beat up the protesters, and that's the end of the democracy movement in Iran. So there's a real double standard in Obama's treatment of Iran, where he opposed the democracy movement, and Egypt, where he supported it. Now, when an intelligent man does something that's contradictory, it's not because he's a fool. It's because he's up to something else. The difference between Iran and Egypt is that Iran is an adversary of the United States, and Obama seems to have no interest in weakening our adversaries, while he does seem to have an interest in weakening our allies. This double standard can be seen also in the way that Obama has treated Libya on the one hand and Syria on the other. So when there was an uprising in Benghazi under Gaddafi, Obama moves into action. He says there's genocide going on in Libya. We've got to stop it. We've got to use U.S. airplanes. We need NATO. We essentially need to bomb Gaddafi into oblivion. We've got to get rid of the regime. And we did, using a massive display of military force. Now, how many people were killed in Libya by Gaddafi in this action that Obama calls genocide? It turns out approximately 250. Meanwhile, in Syria, over the past 2 years, there has been going on a real genocide in which there's a civil uprising against Assad, the dictator. Assad has been using chemical weapons and brutal force in the face of the world watching. And there have been people screaming for intervention. Obama has flatly refused. Not just tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of people have been killed in Syria. No intervention. Now, finally, Obama says, well, all right, we're going to work to stop chemical weapons in Syria. And even though we're stopping the chemical weapons, we're doing nothing to remove Assad from power. So the question then becomes again, why the double standard? Why intervene in Libya to stop, you may say, mini genocide, while not intervening to stop big genocide in Syria? Well, there's a simple answer to that. Gaddafi, the former dictator of Libya, was doing business with the United States. Now, I wouldn't say Gaddafi was an ally. He was actually a bad boy in the 70s and 80s. But after the invasion of Iraq, Gaddafi shaped up. He was outing terrorists. He helped to out the Pakistani A.Q. Khan. He was paying reparations to the families who were victims of terrorism. He paid reparations to the victims of the Lockerbie bombing. Gaddafi was behaving himself, and we got rid of him. Meanwhile, Assad is our deadly enemy. In fact, Assad is allied with the mullahs of Iran. Assad and Iran have been working together to undermine U.S. influence in the region. So if you were trying to find a consistent way to predict what Obama's doing in the Middle East, it's very simple. He's been undermining our allies, and he's been allowing our adversaries to remain in power. This is precisely what we predicted that he would do, and this is precisely what he is doing.
Near the Rockford Airport and then into Cherry Valley. That storm has now moved into Boone County right now. This is another picture from Davis Junction. It is clear we have a funnel in progress there. Then again, looking off to the north toward the Rockford Airport. And now most recently, this is the picture to the southwest of Rochelle. This is the storm that's producing the tornado near Ashton. From what we are told, that is a large tornado, it is a dangerous tornado, and it is a tornado that has produced damage just to the...
Oh my God, horizontal! Oh my God! Oh my God. This is violent. You guys, it's right there, right there. Stop. We're good. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Oh my God. It hit cars. It hit cars. Look at there goes cars. What? Oh my God. I saw headlights go flying. Oh my gosh. Oh shit! He's over. Oh shit! Call 911. Go!
Gordon, supercell thunderstorms produced a huge tornado in Illinois, striking different parts of the state. It killed a 67-year-old woman and injured 7 others in a small town in northern Illinois. The tornado also touched down in Rochelle, a small town about an hour and a half southwest of Chicago. One woman said she'd lived there 18 years, but had never seen a tornado that big or stay on the ground that long.
That severe weather in the Midwest, millions affected by tornadoes, hail, flash floods.
But take a look behind me. 70-mile-per-hour winds, perhaps even stronger, ripped part of this roof off. We're seeing damage like this all across this country.
Tornado on the ground.
Overnight, wild weather across much of the country. Look at that. Funnel clouds forming across the heartland.
Another one coming down there.
A rainbow appearing in the midst of this tornado. In Kansas, hail hammering drivers so hard, this storm chaser windshield shatters as they battle the elements. This morning in North Carolina, they're cleaning up after hail cracked windows and damaged cars. In Potosi, Missouri,
it hit the transformer.
75-mile-per-hour winds ripping trees from the ground in Ohio.
As you can tell, they're not small trees.
In Idaho, roads in need of a good plow. After nearly 6 inches of hail hit the ground, drivers of cars and buses caught off guard. The St. Louis skyline lit up with lightning, this bolt getting dangerously close to planes.
New tonight, lightning damages a plane, but no one on the plane knew it. That's what we're hearing tonight from a passenger who was on the long flight from Iceland to Denver.
This giant gash in the nose cone of this Iceland Air jet is what greeted passengers on Flight 671 when they landed in Denver.
It's amazing to see what the lightning can do.
Levi Garrett of the band The Bunny Gang is used to loud noises, yet the flight home from an overseas tour was different.
When it happened, no doubt, our drummer, we look up and he's doing that. He gave some to God.
New details this morning on a mysterious light that some residents in the Southwest are saying is out of this world.
And I saw like this blue light in the sky, and I was like, that's kind of bright to be a star. I've never seen a blue star that bright.
I didn't know whether blue. Watched it for probably about 10 minutes, just doing weird stuff, and it would turn on and off the light and it would disappear.
Neighbors living off of Alder Point say the blue light that they saw in the sky was about the size of a dime and started off just above those trees right there and then migrated northwest.
Oh, there it goes sideways.
It pretty much flew, stopped, and then started doing some upward motion and downward motion. So I never seen anything like that.
In all of your 23 years living here, have you ever seen anything?
Nothing. Nothing. You know, we'll see the police helicopter every once in a while or an airplane go by. That's pretty common, but nothing like this.
Even stranger, they caught this flash of light on video appearing just to the left of the blue light.
Last time we saw it, it had a white flash.
Over 100 dolphins have beached themselves on a shoreline north of Tokyo. Found on a beach, the melon-headed whale dolphins are fighting for survival after police and the local Coast Guard were alerted on Friday morning.
California wildlife officials are now coping with a major crisis involving sea lions. So far this year, more than 2,000 sea lions have been found starving and stranded on California beaches. More than half turned up last month.
John, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration today confirmed that over 2,250 sea lions, mostly pups, have been found in terrible shape on the beaches of Central California. That number is, unfortunately, John, a new record.
Drought in the U.S. state of California is now the worst in over 1,000 years. The region is fast running out of water.
By now, we've all heard about the record-breaking drought in California. The state is heading into its 4th year of bone-dry conditions with little liquid relief in sight. And now, for the first time in California's history, the governor has ordered mandatory water use reductions, saying the state's drought has reached near crisis proportions after a winter of record-low snowfalls.
Well, it's the perfect gift for someone who worships Kanye West. There is now a version of the Bible for sale on Etsy called the Book of Yeezus. It's a remix on the Book of Genesis, where every time God is mentioned, the book replaces it with Kanye. The first passage reads, "In the beginning, Kanye created the heaven and the earth." The creators call it an editorial art piece. And I feel kind of funny just reading that on Easter Sunday.
Yeah, no words for that story, right?
This is what I want to bring you, because there's a developing story in the science community. It's happening right now. There's a rare geomagnetic storm occurring.
A powerful solar storm hit Earth today, and aside from the amazing images,
Pat, a severe solar storm smacked the Earth with a surprisingly big geomagnetic jolt on Tuesday, but no damage has been reported. The storm ranked a 4 on a scale of 5. 2 magnetic plasma bursts left the sun on Sunday and got to Earth about 15 hours earlier and much stronger than had been expected.
A cool sighting over Switzerland and Austria last night. Check it out. What appears to be a meteor is caught on camera streaking across the sky. That's amazing.
Some people in Europe had a spectacular view this morning if the clouds didn't get in the way. A total solar eclipse took place.
We've entered the peak of the eclipse. I have to say there's an eerie darkness that has descended on parts of the capital.
On the ground on the Faroe Isles, day turns to night. Those watching plunged into darkness.
Millions of people in more than a dozen countries stopped what they were doing and looked up. A black hole in the sky, offering a rare glimpse at the sun's outer atmosphere.
There it is, the diamond ring.
A solar eclipse coming at the same time as a supermoon, the closest it gets to the Earth, and the vernal equinox, the first day of spring. A rare cosmic coincidence.
A new mystery tonight. Wildlife resource officers are trying to figure out why dozens of birds dropped dead out of the sky at the same time in Spring Hill. It was an eerie scene, as you can see here, with more than 50 birds on the road. Wildlife officers bagged some birds and took samples, but they say they've never seen anything like this.
Pictures show some of the thousands of snow geese found dead in eastern Idaho. The carcasses stretched for dozens of acres and were first noticed on Friday.
There's no doubt that 2,000 birds died there.
I'm up every day and think that's the end of it, and I wake up the next morning and look out, and there's another 50, 60, 70.
This woman says hundreds of dead fish are popping up along the shore outside her home.
Teresa Williams has lived in the Bridgewater neighborhood for about 11 years, but for the past week or so, she says she's been waking up to an unpleasant sight.
Something fishy is happening on the beaches of the Outer Banks. Lots of fish, and a lot of you are talking about it. 10 of your side viewers emailed us dozens of pictures of dead fish along the shoreline. So what is going on?
Another mystery of sorts, the whereabouts of Vladimir Putin. Just this morning, the Russian president made his first public appearance in nearly 2 weeks, but did he shed any light on where he's been?
Russia has kicked off massive 5-day military drills amid spiraling tensions with the West over the crisis in Ukraine.
Стратегических ракетоносцев, которые вылетели с аэродрома в Энгельсе. Их маршруты фиксировались средствами десантники Костромского и Ивановского соединения. Сложности не только из-за непростых климатических условий. Совершила многокилометровый бросок и заняла назначенное.
Представлять Ростов, вспомним, как было непросто, лихие 90-е, ползая оборот.
NATO fighter jets are landing in Estonia for large-scale military exercises, which the U.S. and several European countries are conducting near the Russian border.
Pope Francis marks the second anniversary of his surprise election by predicting that he will not be Pope for much longer.
Francis predicts his pontificate will only last about 2 or 3 more years.
Tonight, an 11-member task force is telling President Obama how police departments across the country must change. He asked for the recommendations after the shooting death of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, and the choking death of Eric Garner in New York.
The task force on 21st century policing offered a wide range of suggestions on training and deadly force, but most of the recommendations boil down to one thing: trust.
It will be good for police, and it will be good for the communities involved, and as a consequence, it will be good for the country. The moment is now for us to make these changes. We have a great opportunity coming out of some great conflict and tragedy to really transform how we think about community law enforcement relations so that everybody feels safer.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering what DeKalb Police Department is
doing with your taxpayers' dollar and how they're protecting and serving today. This is it. They are progressing their militarized agenda. They are currently training in these abandoned houses.
Upon an evacuation notice, the subdivision of Overton, the residents chose not to leave. So we are doing a door-to-door wellness check. Perform a health and wellness check and just ask them if they need food, water, if anybody in the house is sick or injured. Come on up.
Yep, I'm doing fine.
Well, great. That's great to hear, sir.
Appreciate you coming by. Good.
We appreciate you, and thanks for participating.
Yep.
I'm here to talk about a massive military drill that will be conducted on American soil from July 15th to September 15th of this year. U.S. Army Special Operations Command calls this Operation Jade Helm 15. Texas and Utah have been painted red, and the legend states that red is a hostile area. Now, why is the federal government calling Utah and Texas hostile?
Now, secondly, however, as I have gotten older, I have decided we really need camps for adults. And we need the kind of camps that you all run. I mean, really.
Breaking news from Missouri. The St. Louis County Police Chief moments ago talking to reporters, revealing they have several leads tonight after 2 police officers were ambushed. It all happened this week after the Ferguson police chief resigned and that peaceful protest that suddenly took a turn. Gunfire erupting, protesters and police running for cover, hiding behind the brick wall there. And when it was over, that image of one of the officers down.
The words come after a tense 24-hour manhunt, authorities digging for clues to track down the gunman who shot 2 police officers.
Arisha Turner was inside the home with her 6-year-old son and 2 acquaintances when police showed up and took the adults in for questioning. All 3 were released without being arrested or charged. Now the Turner family says police owe them an apology and much more.
He thinking something gonna happen to me. He is afraid.
Arisha Turner is talking about her 6-year-old son, MJ, who she says was traumatized by watching police with guns swarm his family's home and take his mother away in handcuffs.
Had to talk him off under a bed last night.
Turner tells me she was at the protest early Thursday morning when the 2 officers were shot. She says after the gunfire, she ran to her car, which was parked close to where the gunman opened fire.
They said I sped off on the scene, but everybody sped off. People was running, people was, ducking.
A few hours later, police had surrounded Turner's home, saying they wanted to ask her some questions. They even broke into the attic. Turner says she was treated more like a suspect the entire time.
Flared tempers tonight after a deputy shoots a man in the face in Deltona. Critics in the community think that deputy was out of line. Today they were demanding answers from the sheriff.
There's no advancement. There was no reaching for anything. The guy was wearing basketball shorts like I am,
These are several of the 4 men and 2 women in the house when SWAT arrived. They didn't want to give their names, but say their friend was not armed, didn't charge the deputy or challenge him with a weapon.
They entered the house and fired immediately.
He didn't have a weapon on him?
No, sir. There's no weapons in the house. They came in with a certain intent and purpose, and they met their goal.
When police officers are wearing camouflage, it sends a very clear message to the community that they're supposed to be serving. It also affects the mindset of the police officer himself. The idea that when we take domestic police officers, and we train them like soldiers, and we give them military gear, and we dress them up like soldiers.
Prominent academic and author Dr. Michelle Chossudovsky warned that the so-called war on terrorism is a front to propagate America's global hegemony and create a new world order.
St. Louis High School is one of the first in the nation to have a new kind of security.
Facial recognition cameras scan people's faces as they try to get in the building. If you're not on their system, you can't get in.
Come into this door, walk through, look at the camera.
His face is recognized and he's allowed in.
Recognize my face, the light goes on, and then I can open the door.
There's controversy at a high school during the Pledge of Allegiance. A lesson on language turns into questions about patriotism. CBS 2's Lou Young reports on a school divided.
Tonight, our country's symbol of freedom has been taken down by the student government at UC Irvine because it makes them more culturally inclusive. That move has sparked huge debate tonight, including at the school's sister campus, UC San Diego.
Last week, the Legislative Council at UC Irvine voted to ban all flags, including the American flag, from hanging in common areas of any student government offices, a decision that has left many veterans dumbfounded.
It's preposterous. You know, I can't understand it.
Time to wake up, America. If you just stepped foot on Earth and saw what was going on in America, there's a good chance you'd think we were enemies with Israel and allies with Iran. This week, President O finally picked up the phone to congratulate the Prime Minister on his re-election. Then President Obama dropped a bomb. He added a warning to Netanyahu: play ball with me or else. In fact, the Obama administration is considering taking actions against Israel, our greatest ally.
My name is John Yarmouth of Kentucky. Gathered with me are colleagues, all of whom opposed the appearance of Prime Minister Netanyahu today.
Congressman John Yarmouth of Kentucky is here to tell us why he chose to stay away.
What I objected to was the fact that he pulled out the Dick Cheney playbook, used fear-mongering, made statements that are totally unsupportable. Those are, again, scaremongering tactics that don't advance the dialogue. And I knew he was going to do that, and that's one of the reasons I objected to the speech.
My 18 years of law enforcement, I haven't seen this.
Pile-ups stranded hundreds, creating traffic nightmares that made national headlines. Cars stuck, abandoned, turning a busy highway into an eerie graveyard.
The line of stranded tractor-trailers stretched down the highway for 40 miles. Icy roast caused several accidents that shut down 2 major highways in Kentucky, stranding more than 600 vehicles overnight.
This is the second such declaration in less than a month.
Man, I'm going to tell you right now, I just feel the fire of God on me right now, like so bad, man. I've been talking to people, and I told you guys about the dream that I had, you know, a couple months ago. I seen fire falling from heaven, and in each state there was like an individual there waiting for the fire of God to fall on them. I'm telling you right now, there is a move of God coming, man. I feel the power and the Holy Ghost on me so strong, and God is about to bring the backsliders back. There is an army rising up. There is an army rising up, and I'm telling you right now, you want to be a part of it. Because you know what? The enemy's trying to move too. Man, look at the news. Look at the evilness that is going on in this world. Look at the corruption. Look at the gay marriage. Look at these young people disrespecting elders, beating up elders for no reason, people jumping people. Look at the violence that is shared all across Facebook and World Star to the point where you're getting desensitized. Look at just the gay people just trying to invade everything. Everything. The devil's voice is loud and clear, and he's trying to defy God stronger than ever before. You guys think that I'm the only one who's fired up for God? No, I'm telling you, there's people all over the world. God is raising up an army, and it is about to be crazy. This earth is about to be shook. There is an army that is rising up. You need to be a part of it. Soldier up, man up. Make up your mind that you're going to be sold out for Jesus. Don't let the devil punk you. Don't let nobody else make you feel ashamed.
Hi,
my name is Linda Bolton and I'm with Natural Calm Canada. We're going to be talking today about the benefits of magnesium and how it will help migraines. We actually discovered the benefits of magnesium in regards to migraines through my younger sister Debbie, who had actually suffered with severe migraine headaches since she was 12 years old. And she had pretty much tried everything known to man to help herself and nothing did. It was just awful to watch how horribly she suffered for so many years. She finally came across Natural Calm around 4 years ago and started taking it. She would take 1 teaspoon in the morning, 1 teaspoon at night, and within a month of taking it, she actually went from 3 to 4 migraines a week to 1 once a month. And I could not believe how much it helped her. And it was around that time that, that we started really investigating the benefits of magnesium for so many different things. I was actually suffering with insomnia and also fibromyalgia at the time, and it really helped me as well. Natural Calm is a highly absorbable form of magnesium citrate, and its absorbability is just tremendous, the way it really works quickly. So how does magnesium help migraines? Well, they say that over 50% of migraine sufferers are actually suffering with magnesium deficiency. One of the things that magnesium does is it actually helps muscles to relax. A lot of migraine sufferers really have a lot of tension in their neck and their muscles and their shoulders. So magnesium will help muscles to relax, and it will also help to reabsorb the calcium that builds up. Calcium's function in the body is to tense muscles, and magnesium relaxes muscles. So magnesium will actually help migraine sufferers with a lot of that muscle tension. The other thing that magnesium does is it helps to dilate the blood vessels leading to the brain. And that too will also help to increase your blood supply and your oxygen supply, reduce spasms in the arteries leading to the brain, and it will help to reduce that pain as well. In fact, the years that I worked as a nurse, I remember that doctors will give migraine sufferers magnesium intravenously when they first come into hospital with migraine headaches. And it actually helps even better than giving them pain relief. So it's really quite an incredible mineral. We are really been very, very excited about the number of people that have been helped with magnesium for their migraines. We actually talked to a lady by the name of Kim from the Owen Sound area who had suffered with severe migraines since she was 18, and she's now 43. She was getting an average of about 1 migraine a week, and she started taking Natural Calm very reluctantly, I must admit, but she started taking it, and within just within a week of taking it, she never experienced a migraine since. And we're so excited about that. It just blesses my heart when I hear of people who are really helped by Natural Calm and by magnesium for migraines. The other lady that we talked to was a person in Windsor, Ontario, who had been suffering from migraines for many, many years, and she has not experienced 1 migraine since starting to take our product, and she's been on it over 3 months. So it's really wonderful. We also had another gentleman by the name of Alex who had suffered with migraines. Well, he said he was 65 years old, and he'd been having migraines, or what he would call headaches, from the time, he said, I can't remember a week in my life without a headache. And he called me after taking our product for 2 months. Actually, I'm sorry, for 2 weeks. And he said, I have not had a headache in a whole week. He said, do you know what that means to me? So it's so exciting to see what magnesium can do to help with migraine.
Hi, this is Dr. Hyman. Welcome back. Now, here's some headline news that you've not heard about. There was a new compound just discovered that turns off all the diabetes genes. Guess what it is? It's rye bread and rye pasta. Now, you might remember from one of my recent blogs that rye has special phytonutrients that turn off all the genes responsible for diabetes in just a few weeks. Now, this should have been headline news along with all the other discoveries about how to control diabetes that I'm going to tell you about today. Last week, I talked to you about how to find out if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, because half the people with diabetes walking around don't know they have it, and nearly all of the people with pre-diabetes certainly don't know they have it. So let's get started. First thing is diet. Eating in a way that balances your blood sugar, that reduces inflammation and oxidative stress, and improves your liver detox is the key to preventing, reversing, and stopping insulin resistance in diabetes. This is a way of eating based on a whole foods diet. It's high in fiber, low in sugars and flours, it's got a low glycemic load, and it's rich in colorful fruits and vegetables. It's very simple, whole foods diet. It's a way of eating that includes lots of anti-inflammatory and antioxidant and detoxifying foods. It includes plenty of omega-3 fats and olive oil and soy products and beans and nuts and seeds. All these foods have been proven to prevent and reverse diabetes and insulin resistance. So here's the basic guidelines for those who own a body. I think most of you out there. There's a way of eating that turns on all the right gene messages, that promotes a healthy metabolism and prevents aging and age-related diseases like diabetes and heart disease. And this is right from my book, Ultra Metabolism. So here's the prescription. 1, first think about your meal timing. You've got to eat some type of protein for breakfast every day. It could be whole omega-3 eggs, a protein shake, nut butters, some form of protein. You've got to eat something every 4 hours to keep your blood sugar balanced. You've got to have small protein snacks in the morning and afternoon, such as a handful of almonds. And you have to finish eating 2 or 3 hours before bed, otherwise you're going to look like a sumo wrestler. And then you have to look at the composition of each meal, sort of like painting a painting. You have to have all the right balance in there of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, and make sure you balance your sugar. Now, here's some basic principles. 1, choose organic produce. 2, eat omega-3 fat-containing foods. 3, make sure you have quality protein. 4, eat the omega-3 eggs. Next, eat a meal high in low glycemic beans such as lentils, chickpeas, and soybeans. These help your blood sugar go up slowly and raise the good cholesterol and lower the bad cholesterol. Eat a whole cornucopia of fruits and vegetables with lots of phytonutrients, all the colors of the rainbow. Eat the rainbow, right? Use low-burning, low-glycemic vegetables such as asparagus, broccoli, kale, spinach, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. Eat lots of great fruits like berries, cherries, peaches, plums, rhubarb, and pears and apples, which are wonderful for your body and antioxidants. Focus on anti-inflammatory foods that have things like wild fish full of omega-3 fats, and red and purple berries, and dark green leafy vegetables. And eat more antioxidant-rich foods. These are like orange vegetables, and yellow and dark green leafy vegetables, and red and purple, and all those nice colors that we were talking about. Make sure you eat detoxifying foods to help your liver, like broccoli, kale, and collards, and dandelion greens, and Chinese broccoli, and green tea, and watercress, and dandelion greens, and cilantro, and artichokes, and garlic, and pomegranate, and even cocoa. So many foods out there can help you. And try some herbs like rosemary and ginger and turmeric that are powerful antioxidants. And avoid excessive quantities of meat. And if you have to eat meat, make sure they're organic or grass-fed. Eat lots of garlic and onions because they help lower your blood pressure and cholesterol and help you detoxify. Eat lots of fiber-containing foods, which are whole foods, basically plant foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, whole grains. Eat a good quantity of extra virgin olive oil, and use soy products in your diet, and eat more nuts and seeds. And yes, you can even eat chocolate, the darkest, only most luxurious kind, and only a few ounces at a time. It should be at least 70% cocoa. And of course, you should get off all the bad stuff, right? Those are all the good things. You get off processed food and white flour and high fructose corn syrup and artificial sweeteners and starchy processed carbs and fruit juices and canned vegetables and hydrogenated oils and processed oils and lots of red meat and big fish like tuna and swordfish, which have mercury, and try to get rid of as much dairy as you can and limit caffeine and alcohol. And make sure you exercise, because that's dramatically important for improving insulin sensitivity. And learn how to deal with stress, which is actually critical for helping balance your blood sugar and improving your metabolism. Also, I encourage you to think about supplementations, a good multivitamin, and also some special nutrients that I include in my blog in detail, like lipoic acid and biotin and cinnamon and fenugreek and banaba leaf and something called PGX, which is a phenomenal compound. It's glucomannan fiber that slows your blood sugar absorption and helps you actually lower your blood sugar and lower cholesterol. So these are all very simple things you can do to have profound effects on your diabetes, reverse insulin resistance, help your body actually recover from this horrible event that has happened as a result of the choices you make every day. So diabetes, remember, diabetes and its precursor, insulin resistance, are the most looming threat to our health in the 21st century. It's a tragic consequence of our toxic food environment, our unmitigated exposure to stress, our sedentary lifestyle. However, these problems are completely preventable and often reversible through aggressive lifestyle changes, supplements, exercise, and stress management. Diabetes is the biggest health epidemic we have, triggered by the obesity epidemic. And all of our medical efforts to treat it are focused on medications and insulin, and it's simply the wrong approach. So if you follow these guidelines, you will see a dramatic change very quickly in your health, in your weight, and your diabetes. Just try it.
If you're one of Britain's growing number of atheists, a Sunday morning might present itself as an opportunity to just sleep in and relax. After all, there's no Sunday Mass to attend. Well, not exactly. More and more of London's atheists are waking up on a Sunday morning and going to church.
Sunday Assembly? Don't look shy, come on in.
But there's no talk of saints or sinners here.
We are the Sunday Assembly. We like to think of ourselves as part foot-stomping show, part atheist church, 100% celebration of life. So that's what's happening. And it is for people who want to live better, help often, and wonder more.
Living better in the Sunday Assembly sense of the term features singing, dancing, and moralistic tales told by stand-up comedians.
Anything that takes off probably takes off because it gets into our very basics of what we need as humans. Like being welcoming is a really big part of being Irish. Like it's our main thing because we don't have an economy anymore, so it has to be our main thing. And I noticed that like we're forgetting sometimes to be welcoming.
Since its launch, Londoners have been clamouring to attend, with more non-worshippers turning up than can fit into the venue.
I was leaving a Christmas carol service about 6 years ago and thought, you know, there's so much about this which I really love. You know, the community coming together, singing songs with people, having mulled wine afterwards. You know, that is all things you can buy. It's just a shame the God part.
A quarter of Brits now describe themselves as having no religion, and that figure's going up by 750,000 annually. At the same time, Christianity is losing more than 500,000 followers a year. With trends as they are, the number of atheists is set to overtake the number of Christians by 2030.
Congregations are getting older and older, and I think we're getting now to the stage where there are second, third generations of people who've just never been in a church. More and more people are finding that the church is not relevant, and particularly where we have the leaders of churches taking positions on women's rights and on gay rights, which are totally at variance from what the majority of people in the congregation think.
But these modern-day atheists are still seeking out some sort of spiritual solace.
We were really shocked at how many people were here. We weren't expecting this number of people, and I think it says something about how people feel that all these people are here because they're looking for something.
I thought, you know, it'd be interesting to kind of be in a group of people all having a chat about how to live our lives, which you don't kind of get except in pubs.
It's odd. I haven't been in a church for a few years. First time I go back.
There's no cross in there.
No cross except for the first aid cross over here. That's the only one I've seen so far.
I think that just because you don't believe in God doesn't mean that you don't want to hear really interesting talks, to think about improving yourself, to sing with others, and then to have a cup of tea with people at the end. I mean, this is really all the best things about church without the one thing which I'm uncomfortable with, which is the religion part.
14.1 million Brits now describe themselves as faithless, a label that these non-worshippers feel comfortable celebrating. Polly Boyko, RT, London.